Okay, sixth graders, let's do our Baroque light and dark core shadow cast shadow project. This is what we're going to be making today. A cool tinfoil sculpture, and we're going to play with the shadows. And this is something that you can even hang on your wall standing straight with your sculpture sticking out like that. It'll be pretty fun. So the materials that you need are a nice large rectangle of tinfoil. Mine is about 12 inches by 17 inches, but it doesn't have to be that size. If it's bigger, that's fine too. Just kind of a rectangle that looks about in this proportion. A pair of scissors, a marker, a flashlight if you have it. If not, a desk lamp or something like that would also work in a fairly dark room. If you want to glue your sculpture onto a paper like I have here, you'll need a glue gun. That's something that you should ask your grown-up about and make sure that they're helping you so that you can do that safely. And then you need something kind of stiff. A stiff paper like this is just cardstock. Construction paper is not quite strong enough usually, unless yours is extra thick. So a piece of cardstock or cardboard. So I'm just going to use this cardboard today at home because that's what I had. You can use a cereal box if you kind of cut it into just a rectangle and just use one side of your cereal box, or anything stiff like that. If you don't have something stiff or hot glue gun, that's okay. You can still make this sculpture part and you just won't glue it down. Okay, so let's get started on the sculpture. You're going to want to take your rectangle of tinfoil and you're just going to mark on it where to cut. Now, from one of the short edges, you're going to find about the middle and draw a straight line going about halfway on the long side. Okay, so I started on the middle of the short side, drew a line going to about halfway across my long side. Now these are halves. On this side, we're going to do approximate thirds. So just put your fingers on it while you're figuring out exactly or about where the thirds will be, and you can kind of check it. Okay, so that's 1/3, 2/3, 3/3. So where my fingers are about right, so we'll mark them. Now these lines are also not going to go as far. We don't want them to go all the way halfway. We want them to go about maybe a little bit more than 1/4 of the way, about like that. Okay, can you see the marks on my tinfoil? This side is in thirds, 1, 2, 3. The marks go about a little more than 1/4 of your tinfoil length. This side is in halves and the mark goes about halfway. Then cut them. Okay, so my tinfoil is cut. Now this is going to end up being the head and the arms. This is going to be the waist, and then these two long pieces are going to be the legs and the feet. So I like to start in the middle. We're going to start scrunching our tinfoil up. Let me just give you a little word of warning. It's much easier to make it smaller than it is to unscrunch it and make it bigger once you've scrunched it. So my word of warning is to go a little bit slowly and gently and leave your figure a little bit too fat. And then you can always make it skinnier. So very slowly, I'm just going to scrunch this up. For the head, you can kind of roll it if you want, and then kind of scrunch it. But remember, especially for the head, you want to leave it kind of rounded. So I'm going to leave it a little too big because I can always make it smaller. The legs look like they're going to be really long, and my legs might be a little bit long, but once you fold the knees and the feet, they'll get about to the right size. Okay, so my person's starting to come together. but it's a little bit big still. So I'm going to very carefully at this point, I don't want to get it too small, just start compressing a little bit more, make my neck. Okay, there's my person. Now, with the help of a grown-up, you're going to get your stiff cardboard or piece of paper. If you don't have that, you're just going to stand it up on a table or something, okay? Now, I want to pose my person in an interesting way. So, let's see. I'm going to have my person kind of arms up, knees bent. Maybe my person is running. You can kind of play with this a little. It's pretty repositionable. You can even have someone in your house kind of pose in an interesting way, and you can try to look at what their body is doing and pose it in that way. Okay, now I'm going to glue my person's feet. Again, please get a grown-up to help you with this. Hot glue will burn you, and I don't want anybody getting burned. And position it on the edge, one of the edges, not in the middle, because we want to leave the middle for our shadow. Okay, you can see my person here glued on the cardboard. Now I'm going to turn the lights a little bit lower, and I'm going to start to play with light, because remember, we're talking about Baroque art, we're talking about light and shadows. So if you have your flashlight, go ahead and get it out, shine it onto your figure and see if you can create an interesting shadow on your cardboard. Okay, so I'm going to try to fill my stiff board or paper with the shadow of the figure, and then I'm going to trace along the shadow lines. Okay, now, did we just trace along the lines of a core shadow or a cast shadow? That's right, it's the cast shadow. Our figure is throwing their shadow onto another surface, which is our cardboard or our paper. Can you identify the core shadow on your figure? On the back, anywhere that's not facing your light, your figure will be a little darker. And those will be the core shadows on your figure. Okay, now you can turn your lights back on. Thank you. And you can color in your shadow. Okay, and there you have it, your tinfoil sculpture with a cool cast shadow and a neat color, hopefully. You can hang this on your wall, like that. And if you enjoyed making this tinfoil sculpture, make some more, make a whole family, make ones that are smaller or bigger. You could make your pet, you could try making a dog or cat or anything else that you want to try. Let's go take a look at it hanging on the wall, shall we?